What's up, Airsofters, and welcome back to the channel. Yes, I am still alive. I should probably quickly explain where I've been over the past few months, and no, it's not in prison. So I don't tend to play many games over the winter period. I'm getting on a bit now, and my body doesn't operate as well as it used to on those dark, cold, rainy mornings. I've also been pretty busy with work and, well, life in general over the Christmas period, so I've not been as active with videos as I'd like to have been. However, I am going to start ramping things up again, so thanks for your patience. Going forwards, I'd love to hear from you guys what sort of videos you'd like to see from me. I mean, at the end of the day, I make these videos for you, so drop some suggestions down in the comments below. Now, moving on to the subject of today's video, I thought it was about time I shared with you my equipment, my loadout, and for this video in particular, my weapons. I'd like to quickly run through these with you, what they are, when I use them, and a brief little look at each one. I may do a more in-depth video into these, if you want to see that, where I can go into more details of each one and what upgrades they have. Pop a comment down below if this is something you'd be interested in seeing. Now let's dive in and start off with my pistols. This is the first of two Glocks that I own, and this is the larger Glock 17 by Marui, and I believe it's the Gen 3. I love Glocks not only because of their looks, but because they're very lightweight. This one's only 640 grams with an empty mag installed. But unfortunately, I rarely use this Glock 17 and keep it more as a backup, or if I'm playing with friends who haven't got their own gear. Let's move on to the other Glock that I own, which is this, also by Marui. This is the Glock 19. Again, I believe this is the Gen 3. Now, this one I do take out into the field. I have it on a chest holster, but it's more for show. I also take out another pistol, which I use as my main one, which we'll get onto in a minute. Again, I love this Glock. It's lightweight, it weighs about the same as the 17, and it's rarely let me down. It's a great little piece to have as a backup, and it looks good, which, let's face it, that's what half of Airsoft is all about. Moving on again to probably the first pistol I ever bought is this. This is the JW3 Combat Master from EMG. You'll probably recognise it from the earlier John Wick films. It's a high capper version of the 1911 pistol. I bought it because I just like the way it looked, with the contrasting rose gold against the black metal slide. Unfortunately, like the Glock 17, it rarely gets taken out these days and spends most of its life making my wall look pretty. Let's move on now to something that does get to see some action. Again, from the John Wick films, this is the Jag Precision Pit Viper, and she is lovely. I bought this a few months ago, and it's my primary pistol now, and I like it very much. It just feels really good in the hand, and it's really well built. Having the larger 28 round magazine is also really nice, especially if you like to spray and pray. And having the enlarged mag well, really helpful for those quick reloads when you're out in the field. Like I say, this is the main pistol that I use now, and it's got me out of many a sticky situation. Let's move on to something a little bit different now. This is the Dan Wesson 715 6-inch from ASG. I bought this probably about a year ago now, and I don't think I've ever actually fired it. I bought it because, well, I was looking at guns for a CQB loadout, which I'm still needing to finish off, but also the fact it looks pretty badass on my wall. It's pretty hefty though, and weighs in at just over 1.2 kilograms. I've got enough weight to be lugging around an airsoft field, so this one spends most of its life at home. For now anyway. Last but not least for my pistols is every sniper's favourite. This is the Marui Mark 23. This is one of the first pistols I bought, and I just love it. It'll happily sling .4s around all day long. It's super quiet, it's lightweight for the size of it, and it's just a great pistol out the box. I don't use it as much these days as I should do. I normally take it out with me when I'm in my ghillie suit, but as I've not worn that for a while, it doesn't get much of an outing. I will make sure it gets more game time this year, and of course, I'll be sharing that footage with you. Well, this brings us to the end of my pistols, and out of the 6 behind me, I really only take 2 out with me on game days, those being the Glock 19 and the Pit Viper. Let's take a look at my rifles now, and let's start with this monster. This is the G&G ARP556, and it is very loud. I bought this to go with my CQB loadout, but it now also acts as my backup weapon on game days. I've even taken it as my primary rifle due to its outstanding performance and also how small and easy to handle it is. I mean, you can slap a drum mag on this and run and gun to your heart's content. I have had some issues with the electronics, but I have recently upgraded the MOSFET to a Perrin ETU, and since then it's not missed a beat. It's an awesome little gun. I have been tempted to convert it to HPA, but for now it remains one of my most used RIFs. Moving on to a gun that I don't actually own or use, this is the G&G CM16 Raider 2.0. This is actually my stepson's gun, but I also keep it handy for friends who want to come and have a game and don't have their own gear. It's been left stock, it fires pretty good from what I can tell, and there's not an awful lot more I can say on it. Let's now look at a gun that I do own and have used quite a bit of. This is the rather hefty Tokyo Marui 416 Delta Black. What a mouthful. I did an unboxing on this a while back. I'll stick a little link to that up in this video, so when you're done here, go and check that one out. This has had a few upgrades, and I'll be honest, I can't remember all of them. One of the first things I did change though was the spring. Tokyo Maruis usually come out firing under power for the UK, so I slapped a new spring in and got the FPS up to a better level. I've also changed the stock and rear wired it. It looks a bit messy at the moment, but it's not normally this bad. Also from memory, I've changed the inner barrel and bucking, however, I couldn't tell you what to. I love using this gun, especially with the recoil, and I would use it a lot more if it wasn't for one of the guns I'm going to touch on in a minute. But alongside the ARP556, it's probably one of my favourite RIFs. Before we move on to my baby, there's two guns here which I'm going to touch on briefly, and well, the reason I'm going to be brief on them is because I don't actually know an awful lot about them. They were a couple of drunken purchases, and the first of which is this MP5 variant. The person I bought it from has done some customization to the handguard, and like my Dan Wesson revolver, I haven't actually fired it. I bought it to go in my CQB loadout, and hopefully one day it will make its way out into the airsoft field. The other of my drunken purchases was this shotgun. Again, I couldn't tell you who makes it or what it's like to fire. I bought it for my CQB loadout that I really do need to get finished off so I can start doing some indoor games. But I mainly bought it because I didn't have a shotgun and I thought it looked pretty cool, you know, slung over my back. Once I start using this and the MP5, I'll report back to you guys and let you know what I think of it. Now let's move on to my final gun, and I really have left the best to last. This is the Wolverine MTW. Like my other rifles, this runs on the HPA platform, and it was a completely new experience for me when I decided to buy this gun. Out of the box, this gun was brilliant, and I could see straight away why so many people love not only the MTW, but HPA in general. Yes, I have upgraded it over the time that I've owned it, and I've done a video on that too, so make sure you check that one out. I've also recently done some upgrades to the upgrades. These include adding a max hop unit. I've popped in a Morpheus inner barrel with true hop bucking and a Gorilla FCU. This is my main weapon of choice, and it's only let me down on a couple of occasions, and if I'm being honest, both of those times it was me at fault and not the gun. It still amazes me to this day how accurate it can be and the distances you can sling BBs. I usually fire 0.36 grams through it, but you could easily put 0.4s through it, probably even more actually with the max hop unit. I am planning a few cosmetic upgrades for this year. I've ordered a shorter outer barrel, allowing me to put the suppressor slightly inside the handguard, and I'm also considering stripping the paint off and bringing it back to its original black. Let me know in the comments below what you think I should do to this MTW, and well, in fact any of the guns we've spoken about today. I hope you like this quick overview of my armoury. Thanks for watching. Sorry again it's been a while since I've uploaded, but as I mentioned at the start of this video, I hope to start ramping things up now. Thumbs up below. If you're new around here too, hit that subscribe button and click the little bell icon too so you get notified when I drop new content, and I'll see you in the next one.